The Flogcast may occasionally contain explicit content that makes it not safe for work or for minors. It also doesn't provide an excuse to use the same words on Bay 13. Normal Big Footy rules still apply.
Alright, so this is the Flogcast for the finals. The Flogcast resident baker from Richmond, Starburns, is here, and I'm joined by the suburban netballer from Collingwood, Morgan Ashley.
Hi.
From North, we have the Robin Williams of the Flogcast, Dan.
Not the Robin podcast. I'm fine. I'm happy. I'm not going to top myself. So it's nice to have Starburns back. Welcome back. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know what you've been up to. What have you and Trent been up to the last 6 weeks?
Trent had a rest.
No,
we haven't. It's been 3 weeks, and one of those weeks was your fault.
Yeah, you keep saying it's my fault, but really...
Can't do Monday, can't do Tuesday. That was you.
The only night you could do was Friday night. There was footy on.
You still could have... You still could have done Monday. You still could have done Tuesday. I'm not the anchor of the ship. I'm not holding anyone back.
You are. You're holding us all back.
I'm not. And we haven't had one of these podcasts in how long has it been?
3 weeks.
4 weeks, nearly as bad as Cochin's form.
You mean all Australian squad member Trent Cochin, right?
I know that's how he they're trolling.
Does that mean we're still good enough to be one of the 40 best podcasts in Australia?
Should be.
At least on Big Footy.
Mm. Well, we are the choice of random Big Footy perusers for podcasts. Apparently,
people just randomly looking for a new podcast to listen to.
And if you are listening to this, friend of mine, greetings. I'm glad you've joined us. It was an absolute highlight knowing that we have one random listener.
That our reach, we have a little bit of reach out there.
Who is the soul?
A friend I went to school with who reached out to me last week to say he was just perusing podcasts and found us.
How about that?
Look at that.
It's amazing that happens when we haven't been on in 3 weeks. This is what happens. These things come up, Dan, when you're not on every week. You find out who your real fans are.
Why haven't we been on for 3 weeks?
Oh, fuck's sake, Dan. I can't be fucked with everything that goes into it anymore. To do it weekly. That's just the way it is now.
Oh.
It takes up too many hours of the week to do it every single week.
Bread comes first?
Yeah, the bread comes first, yes. You know what? Yeah, why not?
Well, that's a bit flat, really. I mean, the people are listening and they hear you saying, well, I can't be bothered doing it anymore. I mean,
oh, my God. Everyone's got to retire at some point, Dan.
Well, is this like a farewell? Are we retiring from podcasting? Are we? This is it. We finished. Well,
possibly at the end of the year. We'll see how we go, Dan.
We could be Jared Waite. We could be Sean Burgoyne. We'll find out which one we are in a few weeks.
Mm. And finally joining us from Hawthorn, we have Penal, the Flogcast's resident egg layer. Chicken.
Sure, why not? I also would have gone with president of the Ricky Henderson fan club, but whatever.
Yeah. Goo or tears? It's been 3 weeks, so I'm going to segue into my goo, which is the continuing Adelaide Crows saga involving Collective Mind and the complete clusterfuck around it. Apart from the Essendon saga, I don't think we've seen a club so magnificently just destroy themselves from within since the Kim Duthie St Kilda thing than Adelaide over last off-season until now. It's magnificent to watch. Do we have anything on that?
Yeah, I saw something about the leading teams, people saying something publicly, saying how it wasn't their fault that Adelaide fucked up. And
it was Texas. The past tense was Texas' idea.
Yeah, I saw that too. I mean, shit. I mean,
oh, fuck.
Guys, what are you doing?
He's probably text one day, fucking dopey cunt's checking himself out in the mirror and goes, geez, I look big when I stand like this. And then all of a sudden suggests it and away they go.
It kind of did work to an extent until they lost the grand
final. Yeah, it looks very stupid when you lose.
That's true. God, this could all be different if they'd beaten Richmond in the grand final. I don't think we'd be hearing a thing about this leading teams shit. Like, they'd keep doing it. Surely.
They would have been the bus trip.
Yeah, it wasn't half the scandal like the bus trip where they played the Richmond theme song and they were blindfolded. Obviously, if they were reigning premiers, they would have been.
Yeah, but they would have. But the bus trip would have been something else. They would have done something else just as stupid to keep them.
But then they were winners.
Camp was to address the mental weakness.
Yeah,
if they'd won, there would be no mental weakness to address.
My point is they would have kept going with the program because they would have deemed it a success, and they would have done other wacky shit, and we wouldn't be hearing any criticisms of it.
Well, they would have kept going probably, but it would have been less cultish.
Yeah, like digging up corpses and things like that.
Yeah, maybe they'd have just backed in the shit they were already doing, that clearly worked for them last year, not tried to find some extra edge by borderline torturing themselves.
Talking sticks and all.
Yeah, and offending all their players. And do we have anything on that? Anything more?
I think this would probably be the last we hear of it. As big of a mess as it is.
You reckon? What if someone else wants out? Because McGovern's already gone, and there's still those rumours around Eddie Betts.
Yeah, I think this story has more layers to it, and more will be told. Probably once someone starts writing an autobiography. Yeah.
We already know what Texas is going to look like.
Yeah, it's fucking picture book.
A picture book, yeah. I have no writing in it.
Yeah, maybe.
I heard that Eddie wanted to go to North next year, but they didn't want to pay him the $50 extra that he wanted.
Yeah, who'd be up for retirement from the Crows? We know it's not David McKay. They keep fucking re-signing him for no reason. Who can we expect to spill the beans within the next year or two?
Richie Douglas.
The seed, the delicate flower he'll be leaving, I believe.
What, like moving to another club?
Yeah, I think he's going to St Kilda, I heard.
Oh, God.
St Kilda supporter.
The seed in St Kilda, match made in heaven.
Mm-hmm. He'll be sowing his seeds everywhere.
He would rock it to their second most recognisable player.
I have a question regarding Seedsman. Now, is his draft photo legit, or did someone Photoshop the shit out of it? Because he looks.
Which one? The one where he's there, the one with the joint in his mouth.
I think he's wearing like a bicycle shirt. It's his draft photo.
Mm.
Yeah, it's from like the camp or whatever it is. What a bicycle shirt.
Yeah, or whatever it was.
No, that was his photo, and that's why he became such a cult hero.
That's the origin.
Like that, it didn't look real.
That's why Short got behind him so much.
That's why anyone on Day 13 gave a shit. Just one of those.
He looked like an esports athlete that would shoot up an event because.
Is that your tears, Dan, or possibly your goo?
Yeah.
No, Penal. Come on. I wouldn't get bored at something like that. Horrible.
That's the sort of thing I would expect from Brendan Goddard if he was an esports player. If he lost, just to turn the gun on everyone.
It's gone from pointing to pointing at people.
If no one gives him a contract, then maybe he can coach Essendon's esports team next year. Or become their star recruit.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if you're an esports athlete and you're stressed out, just do yourself a favour. Don't take it out on your fellow competitors. Just have a slice of pizza and go ice skating or something. You'll feel much better.
Ice skating sounds like way too much physical
What if it's the
activity.
middle of summer and there's no ice rink nearby?
Well, then buy a gun and do what you have to do.
Thanks, Robin.
Yeah, so my tears for Scott Morrison, because I have no idea who this who this chap is, and he's now apparently the Prime Minister of this country.
He's not afraid of coal. I think that's the best thing you can say about him. You know, he held a piece of coal in his hand and he wasn't afraid. Who else wants to go?
I guess I'll have, because this season of Australian Survivor is really not living up to the high set by the previous one.
We heard all about your esports, Dan. Shut up.
And I think I don't know if they changed out the production team from last year or something, or they certainly changed something, because either they picked a dud cast or they picked a dud production team who are only showing half the players, and as such, I have no clue of. We're halfway through the season, and I still have no clue what half the bloody players are meant to be doing.
I think
because they just only show Matt and pretty much no one else.
Yeah.
I think the answer here is pretty simple. Anything No Hope touches turns to shit.
Probably, but I don't give a shit because I don't watch a stupid show.
You will when she comes to North.
Load up on North's VFL team for the spoon.
Oh, her and Hannah Mouthie in the forward line can't lose.
You get disqualified.
Just as an aside, there's an account somewhere, I don't know if it's an Elias or something, but it's called Mouthie to Franklin.
Yes.
And I think it's absolutely brilliant.
I concur with everything you said, Penal. I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
Why is Matt so interesting that he gets more time than Evil Russell
because
Brian?
He has an autistic son, and therefore he's Australia's
He's
hero ever.
He's danced.
Oh, God. Put Susan's dad in the show. Put good old John Olsen in the show.
And
how would he survive without his Nescafe?
Yeah, his Nescafe.
Post it, mate.
He gets a little present sent from home as an immunity award, and then it's being big balls take.
He'd be the first person to get a visit from home that wouldn't want to win it.
Poor guy, he'd probably want to stay on the island. He probably wouldn't want to come back to Ballarat. Suze can be somebody else's problem, like Dwayne Mossel said in his commentary.
Oh, fuck. Morgs, that was just you, I think.
I would go for Ticket Tech.
Oh, I heard about that.
And the way they handled themselves today. And the fact that if you read the Melbourne Ford, they have waited 12 fucking years for this. And they can't get fucking tickets. I've never laughed so much. Leave a puller, you win all the awards. All the awards, the amount of rage.
Melbourne, send them an email this year. Buy your tickets on Tuesday.
Someone should have gone on there and been like, "Oh, you guys have waited 12 years for this. What's one more day?"
It was just so funny.
Was it just Melbourne supporters that were having issues?
No, it was everybody.
It was everybody,
But like, just reading the post from this one guy, it's like, my phone's been on the black screen. Now it's refreshed. Now it won't let me get anywhere. I can't get that far. And other people are going, "Oh, I've got tickets here. And I've got tickets here." And he's like, "Come on, you bastard." Over and over again. And then the best one was 12 years, 12 fucking years, and fucking Ticket Tech stops me from seeing them finally play. I'm shattered.
Because if you're a Hawthorn or a Sydney supporter in particular, you'd just be used to this happening at this time of year. Whereas, there's always issues.
They outdid themselves this year, though.
Yeah, this was Optus Sport like in its sort of magnitude of failure.
It wasn't very funny trying to buy the tickets, but now that I've got tickets, I am laughing a little bit.
I thought you just rock up early. Isn't that how the MCC works?
I got reserved seats. I'm going to need it because I won't get there till basically after the game starts because of the Thursday. The Thursday night. Fucking Thursday night.
Yeah, what's your reaction to that, Starburns, as someone who will be going?
Fury. Absolute fury. They should have put the Sydney game on to get an extra 12 GWS supporters at the Sydney game. Why would you put Richmond and Hawthorn on the Thursday night?
Well, I was expecting the Eagles on Thursday and Richmond Hawks on Friday.
But isn't the reason West Coast can't play because that fucking bridge?
Oh, that was ready 3 weeks ago.
I thought there
there's been
that
some
went
other
under.
fucking delay since then. But no, I think it's or is there like a time thing, or it might be a weekday thing because of public transport or something. Because something always fucks up with the Thursdays. I know when Chelsea played a couple of weeks ago in Perth, that was on a Monday, and they didn't have any public transport because it was a Monday, so it was like probably the similar sort of condition.
On Mondays in Perth, no public transport today.
No, I mean like the special event services for the game. Like maybe they couldn't put any on at short notice or something.
Let's go into the recaps of sorts then, if no one else has anything on that. It's been a month, or no, not a month, like 3 weeks, and I can't remember what we all predicted about a month ago who we thought would miss. I don't think any of us got it 100% right.
Nah, I totally did. If no Melbourne supporters can see their team, it means they're not playing.
Yeah, I mean, it did. The last couple of weeks did surprise a bit because I mean, I think Sydney looked gone and Melbourne probably looked gone. Port fell away hard. Right?
Yeah, I think that was probably the bit that was the one that probably surprised everyone. Port completely fucking it. And in the process, I'm not sure if this is a good or a bad thing, but their last game performances really just opened the entire off-season up to the same wankery over how good Essendon will be next year, which would be great when they disappoint, but it'll be really frustrating to hear till it happens.
Oh, it'll just make their annual loss to Carlton even clearer.
Yeah, North fell away as well, dropped some really poor games.
The ladder is fucked. And I said this, I do remember saying this the last time we were on. I don't remember saying anything else, but I do remember saying this. The ladder is fucked. We at times went backwards when we would win games. And we finished with 12, but even winning 13 games, we still wouldn't have played finals. That's a joke.
Good thing you didn't, otherwise you'd be probably furious.
I'm furious now. I think 12 wins could get you in the finals. And it just annoys me even more that 13 wouldn't have got us in the finals.
So you wanted given that 4 teams finished on 12 wins, do you think it should have been a 12-team final series?
No, fuck them. We had a better percentage.
North are back in their new ancestral home of 9th spot.
No, that'll always be Richmond's spot. Short memories.
You finished 9th like 3 or 4 times since that last.
It's not funny if North finished 9th. It's only funny if Richmond finished 9th.
9th Melbourne has a nice ring to it.
About Richmond finishing 9th. They finished 9th again. Do you ever hear a North Melbourne version of that? No, because no one gives a shit. It's only funny when Richmond finishes 9th.
That was awfully defensive, Dan.
But it's not. You get what I'm saying? It's not humorous if North or anyone else finishes 9th. It's only funny if Richmond finishes 9th.
Don't know. This reaction is pretty huge.
Yeah, it's fucking with his routine. Something shocking. Things like that change. You're shit until you're not, and you're the 9th place team until someone else is.
No, I disagree.
It's like Carlton were the team without any spoons once. That was their thing.
I mean, come on. How many years is that, though?
15. 15 years
right,
of being...
How many times have North finished 9th? Like twice?
No, it's like, I think it's like, as I said, I think it's like 4 since Richmond last finished there.
4 or 5. It's not 4 or 5.
It's at least 3.
Still, the point is, it's still Richmond's spot.
It hasn't been our spot in over 10 years.
I don't care. It's still your 10 years. No. When did you last finish ninth?
When Wallace was coach.
Which was...
Well, Hardwick's been there 9 years, and Wallace's last year we didn't get anywhere near ninth. So it's at least 10.
Ninth is still very much associated with Richmond.
And the Bulldogs don't win prelims, Dan.
Well, there's still some truth to that because, I mean, just because they win a premiership doesn't eradicate your club's history of failures or mockery.
I think it does.
People have short memories.
Ninth, Melbourne. Anyway, so yeah, there were some interesting results along the way. The snakes and ladders thing. It was actually amazing that, considering the way the season went, that the ladder was basically locked with a week to go. Who would have predicted that? Or at least who was playing finals was basically locked. Because it didn't look like going that way. It looked like it was going to come down to Melbourne GWS or Hawthorn Sydney. And then it didn't. So, what else do we have out of all of what panned out?
I don't know, mate. I don't care.
Look who doesn't care now, Dan. It was, looking at the other end of the ladder, it was fairly interesting to see Brisbane eventually find their way past St Kilda before the season was out. I don't think many people would have predicted that when the season started, or even at the halfway point.
I thought stars like Freeman and Hugh Goddard would have sort of taken them to another level, but not to be.
Hugh can't lead them all on his own.
You can thank us for that, St Kilda, for losing to the Bryans twice and handing you pick 3, which will probably be pick 6 by the time the priority picks and Tom Lynch compensation goes through.
Can we talk about the fucking priority picks? I really want to talk about the fucking priority picks.
Let's hear it.
As Richmond asked for one?
No, but apparently St Kilda are thinking about it.
Oh, so soft.
This is absolutely pathetic. The priority picks on their own, you know, I don't think the Suns and Carlton clearly are complete and utter rabbles, but you can't just ruin some poor kid's career by giving them, and fucking with the draft, by giving them extra picks at the start of the first round. There's a reason this shit disappeared. It was because it completely fucked with everything, and it didn't make these teams any better that had them.
It rewards failure, and it's not right. If you're in a mess, you should, get out of it on your own accord, and not, ask for handouts.
And what's the point in giving Carlton a fucking another pick at the top end of the draft when Sauce will probably just use it to trade for Sam Reid at the Giants or something?
Yeah.
I think Carlton are actually gonna be alright, mainly because, well, it depends on if they get Shield or McGovern. If they can land a big name like that, they're going to be fine. But when a club really falls into disaster and you need to float the idea of AFL stepping in to basically save them, whether that be with priority picks or soft cap relief, whatever, is the closest to that's probably the Gold Coast, because their good players want to go, like Lynch and probably May as well, and no one wants to go there. Whereas Carlton, they could get Shield, they could get McGovern. They're going to be fine eventually, if they manage themselves right. But the Gold Coast are probably in more of a hole, so the idea of a priority pick that has to be traded for a mature age player kind of has some merit to it with them, because no one wants to go there.
Yeah, you could technically bring back the mini draft, I guess, but then you gotta wonder what that will do, because I think when the mini draft was actually in place, the clubs just traded it for an extra top-end draft pick. But yeah, the Suns need help, and I don't know what the solution is for them. Suns have circumstances working against them. Carlton are in this mess of their own making. It's essentially,
and they can get out of it by their own making.
Exactly.
If they do it right.
their recruiting strategy has put them here, and a better one will help them dig out of it. Melbourne are finally coming out the other side despite numerous false starts. Richmond had to do the same. Brisbane are starting to do it after being only 2 years ago completely and utterly hopeless.
Get the right people in. Fagan, good coach. Hodge set the standards for the players. Teach everyone how to be a good bloke.
And also the other thing is, what are we going to do when in 3 years' time Fremantle are in this situation too? It's going to give them a priority pick because they're going downwards.
If you start now, if they do the worst case scenario is they give start of first round priority picks. I hope to God they don't, because it will just be a slippery slope, and 2-3 years down the track, you'll start to see legitimate tanking again, and the debate will just be incessant. So I hope they make a stand saying no.
It's fucked. You need to be worse than this. You need to be Gold Coast level to qualify for a priority pick, but it's not a first rounder. They're going to get one by default with the Lynch free agency compo. That'll do. And then it's up to them to find a way to make it work. Maybe they need to pay some mercenaries or find some guys who they need to find their own Luke Hodge and a few other guys who just want to get out. Like delisting Barlow probably is exactly the sort of move they shouldn't be looking at. But
talking about a guy that got absolutely rooted this year, Michael Barlow, Jesus.
Yeah.
He's probably Gold Coast's best midfielder, and he couldn't get a game despite getting 40 to 50 touches every week in their seconds team.
And now his career's basically over because no one's going to take a look at him because he couldn't get a game for the Suns. So everyone's going to think there's something wrong. Like, no one's actually seen what he can do at AFL level, and he's 30. Although that's prime age for North recruitment.
Even he will say no.
That's even more baffling than the Freeman delisting, because you'd have to assume that he's exactly what they need, to a T.
Character, senior body, prepared to, just actually work hard for it. Yeah.
Yeah, unless there's some off-field stuff that we don't know about, and he just didn't care. I mean, some people just sometimes decide that they don't care, and it's a hard place to come back from.
Whilst we did mention Brisbane and the Suns, can we just talk about Dane Zorko the other week after the Q Clash? Going full Brock McLean and, or probably even worse, getting all shitty over the handshake. It's pretty sad when you lose to be a bad sport like that, but when you win as well, it's just like, and you're still sulking. I don't know. I thought that was funny.
If that was, a second-year player or something, then you just kind of brush that off as, immature, he'll learn and be better. But I mean, that's their captain, and he's been in the system, 10 years almost?
Long enough
not
to
a good look.
better.
I don't know if you'd strip him of the captaincy over it, but you'd probably want to have the conversation.
Yeah, give it to Hodge.
He's just such a cockhead. He's such a fucking idiot. It's not even the first time he's behaved like a moron. Like with the same guy in the same situation.
Same here. He's 100% strike rate of disrespecting Took Miller in 2018.
What has Took Miller ever done to anybody?
Except beat him twice. Fucking Dane Zorko's the guy. Dane Zorko's the guy if he played esports and lost would turn around and shoot everyone.
Oh no.
It's Dane Zorko. Because he's a pretty sore loser even though they won.
He's just a loser. Like, full-on loser.
You would honestly, you would have to think after that particular performance that he can't be captain next year. That's just a shit. I just don't know how you can get behind that.
Well, who's going to be left to be the captain?
Hodge.
The Beams won't be there.
Hodge.
Good bloke.
They should give it to Hodge just for...
Good bloke with Harris Andrews to take over. Groom Andrews for the eventual role. Let him get another decent season of football as like a vice captain under his belt, and let Hodgie be captain. because he was an exceptional leader at Hawthorn. Never did the wrong thing at all.
No, he led by example.
I don't know. Anyway, if we've got nothing else on Zorko, we'll go to a couple.
No, we can talk about Freeman.
We'll move on to Nathan Freeman, Morgs.
Yeah. Oh, what a sad day it is, guys.
He played his first game too.
He played his first game, he played his second game, and he played his last game. Our beloved Nathan Freeman was too good for the world of AFL. I hope he has.
Too good that they delisted him.
Too beautiful for this world.
He's too beautiful for this world.
Mm-hmm.
He will be remembered as the most talked about 2-game player of all time. Literally, there are, between the Collingwood board and the St Kilda board, there's over 500 pages of crap written about this kid that played 2 games.
What will you cunts argue about now? The grand final?
I know. What is left?
You always have Freezer.
Yeah. We'll always have that thread.
It's very weird though. He seemed okay in his second game. Didn't he kick a couple of goals?
He's no way near the worst player I've ever seen play football.
He's nowhere near.
Surely. No, not even the worst St Kilda player.
I was going to say, he's not in the worst 50% of St Kilda's players.
No. It's actually... Sorry, I'm in the supermarket.
Make sure you scan the plastic bag, Morgan. It's 15 cents.
I've only got 2 items. I don't need a plastic bag at the moment.
I think you do.
I have popcorn and mee goreng noodles.
I have 50 of those 15-cent bags in my place, and I don't know what to do with them.
I think you're supposed to take them every time you go and use them.
Yeah, you're meant to.
Yeah,
not just get a new one.
I mean to do so, but I don't.
Well, yesterday I went to the supermarket. I was going to cook dinner, and I took a Woolworths bag to Coles because I liked it. The thought of doing that rather than taking Coles bags to Coles. So I took a Woolworths bag to Coles. And then, as we were walking out, Jimmy's like, this was so convenient, having a bag. I was like, yeah, great. We had bags every other time, too. Just a different bag. But apparently, that's the process. I don't know why people are struggling so much with the new BYO bag thing.
Because people are fucking stupid.
Yeah, that probably sums it up in one.
People have adapted to new Prime Minister quicker than they've adapted to shopping bags.
Probably because they're so used to their Prime Ministers getting knifed. Whereas this one just came out of the blue for them.
They took our bags.
It's not like you weren't warned. It's not like
took
you weren't warned.
They took our germs.
They took our bags.
So I now have 4 items, but I can still carry them all.
If you can get me a carton of milk too, that would be nice.
I thought you were going to say a carton of smokes. So why? Are there kids waiting outside?
That strawberry Big Ernie once. Flavoured milk.
No Starburns.
Carton of milk, strawberry flavoured.
Oh, yeah.
Can you get 9 items just for Dan?
Yeah,
Hello,
if you
how
got
are
more
you?
than 9, you got more than 9 items. Tell the person you're on Skype.
Oh, shit.
Oh, you're not even in the self-serve aisle. You're getting someone else to do it for you. That's just lazy. Come on, Morgan. I should put the phone in the bag.
I forgot my wallet.
Oh, well.
Oh dear.
I either forgot my wallet or I lost my wallet.
Uh-oh. That's never good. Do
I
any of you guys ever shit yourself when you feel like you've lost your phone?
I found my wallet.
Oh, that's great. Now you can get that carton of milk.
I dropped it on the ground.
She
and
can-
it was still in the middle
She
of
can
the aisle.
bring your strawberry Big Ernie. Where can she find you, Dan?
Yeah, Dan. Where do you want me to meet you? I've got it.
No, I don't want strawberry Big M's. I don't like strawberry Big M's. I never drank a strawberry Big M to begin with. I don't know how that show stuck, but it did. And I shouldn't have said anything about it.
I think it's being very much overlooked here that I just dropped a wallet in the middle of a Coles in Collingwood It sat there for 5 minutes and no one stole anything out of it. No one even picked the fucking thing up, and there was people in the aisle.
Was the things worth taking, like cash, credit cards?
Yeah, and it was like it's an expensive wallet.
Yeah, I don't keep cash on my card these days for that very reason, because I have got my wallet.
There was no cash, but there was cards in there.
You can still use pay. You can still go like tap and go
Yeah,
with
that's true.
no whatever for.
It's only 100. You can only
100 in one go. Well, that's as many items as you can carry.
No, but it's not like going to
I had a
JD
500
and buy a big flat screen TV and walk out with it.
Well, I had a $500 gift card in there.
Oh.
What? For what?
No, just an FPOS card. A $500
Oh,
FPOS
okay.
card with the
Okay.
pin and the pin number's written on the back.
Oh dear. Well, you caught a lucky break, because any other time in Collingwood, it's probably gone.
$100 in pay wave, Dan, is like over 600 of those bags.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, it's probably, I don't know, 6 loaves of bread for you or something. High currency.
Anyway, back to Nathan Freeman.
It's actually quite baffling to me that he's somehow not getting a contract. What do you mean? What more could he have done in 2 games? Like,
After all these injuries.
And when you think about, because I've mentioned before, Michael Barlow's perfectly suited to the Suns. Nathan Freeman is perfectly suited to St Kilda, because their problem is they have so many vanilla midfielders that no one knows their name and no one can tell them apart. And this guy is like the complete antithesis to that, because like you say, he's played 2 games and everyone knows his whole life story, and he is almost the most interesting person at their club and like a shining beacon of strawberry sprinkles over the vanilla ice cream that is the rest of that football club, and then they get rid of it because like, oh, he's not vanilla enough.
see, he was too beautiful for this world. And because of that, he has to... If I was a St Kilda supporter, I would be fucking furious.
No, you would like the only thing I can see here that mitigates this somewhat, and I haven't seen the full story, is maybe this is one of those we're going to delist your rookie year things.
Oh, not according to the St Kilda board. It was just...
Was he on good money?
Because they normally...
Yes, very good money. Very good money. Like 350, 400k.
Yeah, but you could
a guy who hadn't played a game.
You could get a pay cut out of him. You know what I mean? Like now that you've seen that, you can send him back to the bottom of the pay scale if you wanted. Like, would he rather not play football?
Yeah, well, it's either have a job or don't have a job.
Yeah.
Well, he's not in a bargaining position here.
Somehow, I don't think he's going to get a comparable salary out there as a lawyer or something of that ilk.
Certainly not as a personal trainer or something like that. Anything that's going to require him to, keep his body intact. Could you imagine if you had a personal trainer who always had fucked hamstrings? Just on a couple of the other retirements and delistings, Dan, can we talk about the fact that North got rid of Billy Hartung? What went wrong?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I don't know why he was delisted, considering he was serviceable in the games that he played until he got injured. I thought he at least warranted another year, but now he's gone, and he's only like 22, 23. So I thought he was going to spend the next 4 to 6 years at North, and now he's gone.
Because again, it wouldn't be like you'd have to pay good coin to.
No. Unless he played like what, however many games it was, 10 or 12, and went, pay me Nathan Freeman money. Give me Nathan Freeman money.
He played 13 games. He got injured, and there was talk that he was going to come back into the side towards the back end of the year, but he was getting back from injury, and yeah, this kind of snuck up on a lot of people. Like, this is kind of surprising. Like, what?
This is very surprising.
Maybe North feel like they have to get rid of it because they're going hard for other recruits, maybe.
That's all well and good, but you must have, like, you delisted like 6 players today, and you must have someone else on your list who's worse than him or shows less than him.
Yeah.
It's baffling. It's like Adelaide getting rid of Ricky Henderson and then picking up Sam Gibson.
He's worth at least one more year to figure out what the fuck what you've got.
Even if he had a poor year, I would still just give him another year.
If you had a poor year, you wouldn't go there. Like, I think we saw enough at Hawthorn.
He's only 22. He got delisted by Hawthorn. He'd be on peanuts. He's quick, and we need.
That's all he is, really.
That's all he is.
He listed as one good trait.
He actually did play some good games this year. It's not like he struggled. If he didn't get injured, he probably would have played out the whole season.
He added some much-needed pace to your midfield that at the moment you don't have. So you must have gaff in the bag. You must feel you got gaff in the bag or something.
Oh, yeah, Jesus Christ. I'm sick of talking to North Nuffies about gaff. They're all in love with this guy. They think he's the next coming of Jesus. Vastly overrated.
Morgs, as a part-time North supporter, did you want to weigh in on Billy Hartung?
I was pretty stumped by it, to be honest. I don't know what Dan said, but
He basically said the same.
Pretty much the same thing as you.
yeah, I'm shocked to be sitting here, to be honest. And when I told Jimmy, he was not down with it. I don't know.
How did Jimmy react?
He wasn't fuming, but no one's that emotionally invested in Billy Hartung, let's be honest. But it was a bit baffling.
Do you think what I'm hearing is the imminent acquisition of Jared Polek has something to do with it?
Well, I think given if they're going to get Polek and Gaff, that Hartung is perhaps surplus to needs.
I'm more enthusiastic getting Polek than I am getting Gaff.
I don't understand. I really do not understand that one.
Polek's pretty injury prone, and Hartung's not bad depth to have as backup.
I don't want to go into it with you again, Dan, but I don't understand Polek over Gaff.
North played 31 players this year. That's pretty light considering the amount of injuries other clubs have had. I would have thought, given the amount of games Hartung played, to have been in that 31, there's a spot for him on your list.
For at least another year. To see.
Yeah, I said if he didn't get injured, he probably would have played out the entire season. And with Gaff quickly, I'm not against getting Gaff. I just think he's overrated.
Oh, sounds like a backpedal.
Well, I'm not against him per se. It's just he's just a bit overrated. He's just a winger that gets stacked.
Nothing else on that?
No, bad luck, Billy. I hope you. Well, I hope, but I don't think you'll get another laugh line elsewhere.
Why are you wishing bad luck upon him?
I'm not wishing. I said, fuck off, Penal. Next.
The other thing I want to touch on is another player whose career was over, except whose career is now over, essentially, but probably should have seen it coming more than Hartung. Brendan Goddard. Not quite the happy ending to the movie.
Well, is he done? I don't think he's officially retired. He might still play elsewhere.
Tell me who will take him.
I mean, for all the shit that we give him, I mean, he still can be a serviceable player. I mean,
didn't really show it this year.
Well, I mean, if you need a player that can hit targets and play in the back line or maybe even forward, maybe
honestly,
Starburns.
St Kilda could do worse than to get the reunion going on. And Gold Coast would be a logical fit. People talk about...
You can reunite with his cousin who's currently in the leadership group, and they can work together, the two Goddard boys. I like it.
No, I agree with you, Penal. I think the only landing spot that really I feel makes sense is St Kilda.
Or Richmond.
We don't have any need for him.
Why not? He's Just another A grader that can play in your team.
Oh, fuck. We have eight A graders based on the AA squad, Dan. 8 AA graders. Anything else on any of the delistings and such?
I don't think every club that's not playing finals is clear who
Some
they
way.
don't want.
It'll come out. Not every
Yeah,
player of this club's delist has been delisted yet.
Yeah,
Some of them
Carlton
have been
wouldn't have done theirs yet, or else we'd have heard about the fucking 5 GWS rejects that are now also Carlton rejects.
And, the inevitable Jack Silvani delisting.
Oh no, they're not going to delist him. It'll be like the Crows and David Mackay. It'll just keep going on, and the supporters will say, "When will it end?"
But the Carlton supporters don't say when will it end because they're thinking it's gonna turn.
Not while his dad's still working there. That'd be awkward. And this is Carlton we're talking about. They're like the kings of corruptness and nepotism.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's talk about someone whose basically career's over as well. Sam Murray.
Oh no.
Yes, that was not smart.
What an absolute idiot.
That's probably an understatement. Yeah, seriously, there is a real problem at Collingwood. They need to do something about their supplier because this guy is not keeping them clean. Whoever it is.
Thank you, Kane Corns.
He's very unprofessional. If you're a professional club, Collingwood should have a designated pharmacist basically on site to break the
I think so. There's the resources and the money to do it. I mean,
exactly. Analyze the cocaine, make sure it's nice and pure, and that it's not cut with these asada
because these are
triggering.
professional athletes and they deserve the best stuff.
Yes, but you feed it in water, not Coca-Cola. You gotta feed them cocaine, not clean butyrol. These are finely tuned athletes, and
I'd expect better from Collingwood, to be honest.
yes, this is the sort of cocaine I'd expect to see at somewhere like the Gold Coast Suns
Or North.
Or the MCG toilets.
Yeah.
It's very disappointing.
I know, cocaine needs to be better, we know.
I don't even like it. But anyway.
It's okay.
It's overrated.
It is a little bit. It doesn't last very long.
For the high that it gives you and the amount of time it lasts, it's very overrated and overpriced.
And it's not a value thing. It's very no wonder only rich people do it because
young poor people take a pill and $25 lasts you all night. You can't afford to have a cocaine habit.
No, you got 4 times an hour, just to stay up,
just to feel anything. Literally have a can of Coke and make it more up and about. It's absurd.
Did you want to get into the legality of it, Dan? You said why are the police not involved?
Well, it's an illegal substance. You can't be possessing cocaine, right?
But they don't have him on possession. They have him on use.
Yeah.
So if you have it in your system, you're not possessing it anymore. So you can have it in your system, you can have it in your bloodstream, in your urine, but you can't have it up your ass.
Up the bum, no. Up the nose, okay.
Yeah. You can't sell it. You can't distribute it.
It's interesting.
But if you've already taken it, it's gone.
Yeah, who says he didn't just randomly come across it in the MCG toilets?
Who says that it wasn't put in his drink?
Yeah, exactly. Swanee was a bit of a prankster. When you serve a bit of cocaine, sprinkle it.
Is it known how it got into his system? Did he take it recreationally, or was he food or drink contaminated?
Well, you don't know. Maybe someone went all Salt Bay with the cocaine and sprinkled it all on his steak.
It does happen to athletes. That's a cunt thing to do to someone.
It doesn't happen to athletes. If a cyclist says bad steak, Dan, it means they're guilty.
Yeah, but I'm okay. You say steak, but people's food and their drinks do get contaminated, and then they're accused of being drug cheats.
I hear that's how Ben Cousins ended up where he is. Someone contaminated.
No, he is just a racing junkie, and there's no hope for him. I'm sorry. Sorry, Ben. Such is life.
But Murray's looking at 4 years on the sidelines, which is pretty fucking hefty for the offence.
Yeah.
Like,
How old is Murray?
20, but it's career over.
Oh,
They're not going to wait for.
Yeah.
They're not going to wait for him, Dan.
probably. I mean, really, 4 years? I thought it was 2 years.
That's doubled since then.
Yeah, it might not be career over, but you'd think he'd get delisted in the meantime and, have to work his way back
Drive
to the
Ubers.
state leagues or something. Because, like, Menzel and that came back, but I can't see them keeping him on the list for 4 years.
No. And it's just, it's unfortunate that he gets 4 years off for something that's clearly not meant to be performance enhancing, but he's got to blame all the cunts that do drug cheat like all the Essendon players. Like, this is their fault.
Couldn't you have waited like 2 months and just go nuts during the off season? I mean,
Well, that's what Buddy Franklin does.
yeah, at least you got if you need to take that stuff, be smart about it.
Well,
I mean, Cousins to an extent was smart about it, but then he just got out of control and then he got busted. But
I think Buddy Franklin, if you look at some of his lengthy absences from the game in the previous years, I'd say he doesn't limit it to the off-season.
But he's not getting caught by a SADA, so he's making sure he clears it.
Not to test positive on game day,
Mm.
or I guess the AFL are really pulling some levers to, because I mean, no one's going to shed a tear for Sam Murray.
I'll tell you what, though.
you can't afford to have Franklin out for 2 to 4 years. Competition's most recognisable player.
It must be said, Lockie Whitfield was very smart. Like, he only got, 6 months?
6 months, most of which was off season.
Yeah, so if you took something at the wrong time a week by and realised, oh shit, I fucked up, then yes, you need to go AWOL.
So that's probably what Buddy did, and they just covered up with sort of
mental health
groin injury, whatnot.
But yeah, 4 years is very steep for that. But
it's harsh to have your career, if not over, but very much hanging by a thread over one dumb mistake like that.
Well, over something that's largely not a performance enhancing.
Essendon's systematic doping program, and the players only got a year. It's just one of those things that doesn't really pass the sniff test.
no.
But what can you do?
The sniff test.
The snort test.
Yes, maybe if the cocaine had passed maybe if they'd done the sniff test originally, then it would have failed, and then none of this would have happened.
What else do we have on anything? Do we have any other things we want to talk about?
How about this au pair scandal?
Yes. The Gillan McLaughlin, isn't it?
One of his relatives, I think, is. But
Hamish
Gillan
banging the nanny.
Gillan was the one that lent on Peter Dutton to let her stay. It's apparently the scandal. Used his considerable influence.
Why would she be deported? Wouldn't she have a working visa?
She didn't have one, and that was the whole deal, because she was on a tourist visa and then overstayed, and obviously was working.
Maybe this is what Dusty's dad needs to do. Maybe he needs to become the nanny to fucking Gillan's kids or something.
Oh, Dusty's dad as a nanny. Oh my god. That's... I would love to see that made into a movie.
Shut the fuck up. Right, I'll get the gun out.
It could be like Mrs. Doubtfire 2 with it could be Mrs. Doubtfire 2, like a spiritual sequel with Dan taking the role of Robin Williams and playing Dusty's dad.
Yeah, sure, because I look the part and I'm part Maui myself, and I can get tattoos on my neck. Sure, no problem.
You do temporary tattoos for filming roles all the time.
But everything else fits penal.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, like,
I'm close to 60 years old with this bikey looking appearance.
Morgs, we've got him.
I'm drawing up a sketch.
Dusty's dad is the nanny. It's like, can you read us a story before we go to bed? He gets that fucking Choppers autobiography or
Shut
something.
the fuck up. Keys, you shut the fuck up now, or fucking Dusty's dad will fucking smack you.
Oh, I think that could work though. Like, yeah, that's the best way to get him back into the country. Just let him babysit the kids, or be the nanny to the kids.
What's his stat? Is he permanently banned from ever coming back to Australia?
That permanently means forever.
Yes, I'm well aware of that.
So I don't know. I guess until someone says he's no longer banned. Supposedly he won his High Court challenge, but that got appealed.
The story of him claiming to be part Indigenous because his grandmother was Aboriginal was just bullshit then.
No, he doesn't have red hair.
But you understand what I was referring to. He tried to claim.
Yes, there was. He's one of the few people who's probably you would probably accept him.
No, I absolutely wouldn't. No way. He does not look. Well, if you look more so than Nathan Drummond, then it's gotten way out of hand. I want nothing to do with it. No.
Anything else on Gillen's au pair?
Is there any pictures? I mean,
No,
it must be
I don't think so.
If they kept her around. She's the nanny, right? I mean, the French nanny. She's got to be hot. And you wouldn't have an ugly French nanny.
Part of the job description must be.
Well, yeah. You can't be
Must be
French
attractive.
and ugly.
You can't be French and ugly.
No, well, if you're being the nanny.
Tell that to Emily Marismo.
I was going to say Jared Depardieu.
Yeah, but if you're the French nanny, then you can't be ugly. You've just got to be hot.
In the Big Footy thread about the subjects, it's full of thirsty young men, I presume, talking about how attractive this au pair is, and how one person would even like to have her take a dump on a glass coffee table and him lie beneath her.
Oh, is Don Lane still alive?
Yeah. So, but here's the
What's the name?
here's the lady in question, and you be the judge, Dan.
Okay. Well, I'm a little disappointed, but she's still alright.
But the real question is, would you let her shit on top of the glass coffee table that you're lying underneath?
No, I wouldn't. I'm not into that shit. Sorry.
Well, the other question I want to know is, do you reckon she could pass for Indigenous, Dan?
Well, clearly not.
Well, the hair colour's spot on.
Oh yeah, the hair and the blue eyes and the Caucasian skin, the pearl.
I think
clearly Indigenous.
I think her
needs a few tribal marks. She'll be right.
Her outward appearance, 100% fine. I think she would only run into trouble with the French accent. That might be a bit of a story. She'd need to.
Well, I mean, based on that, I don't know if it was worth keeping her around. But she's not.
No, I'm not convinced. I think, if you're trying to move mountains and break laws effectively for that.
If she looked like what's that French actress's name that was in the Batman movie?
Marion Cotillard.
Yes, her. Oh my God, I would do anything to keep her around. If
now that's someone worth risking going to jail for.
Yes, Penal gets it.
You wouldn't risk fines or jail time for that.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean that in the nicest possible way. And holy shit, I just realised what Gerard Depardieu looks like now after not having seen what he looks like since like a 20-year-old film or something. Oh dear. Didn't realise Depardieu was French for 5 chins.
And a trunk. Because he has one that fucking nose.
Would you let Roman Polanski babysit your kids? But he's French. No? Probably not.
I don't know if we'd be able to get him into the country.
No, probably not.
They haven't been able to get him out of Switzerland.
So yeah, I'm probably borderline as to whether you kick the maid out or not. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt.
She's good at her job.
Wait, the photo angle wasn't that endorsing of her beauty, so I will say let her stay. But the shitting on the desk is optional. In fact, it's not optional. Don't do it.
Anyway, can we just quickly discuss the fact that according to the AFL Coaches Association, Tom Stewart is young at 25 years of age.
Huh.
Who's he?
He plays for Geelong.
Does he? Oh. Oh.
Some players are hitting free agency at 25.
Well, the age is a bit of a... I mean, you're a bit sort of seasoned at 25. I mean...
Yes, even not even North say that's...
Yeah, and I didn't even know who this guy was. So, yeah. But
I knew who
if
he
he
was,
won...
but that's not young.
No, that's not young at all.
He's
he
like
done all right.
3 months or what younger than Tom Lynch, for fuck's sake. So surely this has got to be like games or season.
It's 2 seasons, first 2 seasons. It's a first 2 season thing, but it's called Best Young Player or something.
So the 2 seasons rule would take out players like Cripps and Oliver and that.
Yeah. It's quite interesting though. Like I can't wait till the Geelong supporters use this as evidence that they have good youth.
Does that mean Podsy Adley won it in 2011?
Oh, possibly. David Moore is still eligible next year. Penal.
If Jared Waite has a year out of the game and then comes back,
well, his best football is still ahead of him, isn't it?
will he be eligible in what, 2021?
I was going to try and segue us to Jared Waite there in that Brad said his best football was ahead of him. Was this his career best season?
I think his best could still be ahead of it.
In AFLX or
Yeah, AFLX, country footy, VFL, whatever he does next.
it is pretty funny that Brad says his best football's still ahead of him, and a year later he's retired.
Well, I don't think he was forced out. I think he was given
But he had so much to give.
I know, but I think the conversation he had was there's probably a good chance he'll be playing more VFL football than senior football next year. And the mailman was like, fuck that, I'm going. Is that the sound of popcorn being popped that I can hear?
It's not even my popcorn. I was on mute. Penal, are you making popcorn?
I'm not making popcorn. Didn't you mention you were buying popcorn?
I'm still sitting at my desk.
Dan's just projecting, imagining things. He's waiting for the popcorn.
If you're going to make popcorn, don't buy that shit in the supermarkets. Just pop your own.
I'm at work. I can't do much about that.
Weren't you just in the supermarket?
Yeah, also I've got like a bag of popcorn that you pop in the microwave.
To eat, to snack on.
That stuff tastes like shit.
Well, what am I supposed to cook it in, Dan?
Well, make your own at home and then bring it to work.
No, that's a bit ridiculous. It's not bread.
You don't have to. You can put the
Jesus. Make your own. Not fucking
that's what I do.
Starburns. I don't fucking make everything myself.
It tastes better. The stuff at the supermarket tastes like shit. If you make your own, you can add, Moroccan and pepper and all kinds of shit. It tastes
Strawberry milk.
No, Starburns. I wouldn't add strawberry milk to my popcorn. You really
Didn't realise this was fucking craft popcorn.
Popcorn hour here.
And it's cheap. Like a 400-gram bag of kernels only costs you like $2.
Oh, well, not on fucking rations. We didn't lose our wallets.
Fucking listen to Dan Bourdain here.
Could you make soy sauce flavoured popcorn? I had that in Japan. It was delicious.
If I wanted to, I could. Yeah, sure.
So you've got,
So I haven't tried that though, soy sauce on popcorn.
Well, it wasn't like sprinkled on, but it was soy sauce flavoured popcorn.
Yeah, I could try that. Actually, I might give that a try. I'll let you know what I think.
Thanks.
That's Morgs' cooking tip for the week.
Dan Bourdain actually works on more than one level.
I know, that's why I said it.
Soy sauce. I never really thought of that.
They sell it at Disneyland.
Oh, yeah.
Any other talking points you want to go with before we move on? Actually, briefly, how about Waleed Ali being consulted on the state of the game? Anyone want to have a go at that?
Oh my god! And
Penal,
Mark
perhaps?
that anyone that criticises that endorsement is racist. That's just ridiculous. I think most people's criticism is that this guy shouldn't be getting a look in because his whole experience in the AFL is that of no different to the average fan. Like what ideas is he going to bring in that's going to enhance the game? You know, you might as well just give me a ring and say, "Hey Dan, what do you think we should do to make this game better?"
And you'd say, remove the tree.
Well, the tree is silly. It's got to go. But that's a ground stadium issue. I'm more referring to the actual game itself, and I don't know what Waleed Ali is going to say that's going to enhance the game.
Is there anything that Waleed Ali has ever done that people haven't been angered by?
No, they even hated it when he played guitar that one time. But I actually don't care that they selected him specifically. I just object to the whole idea that this is a thing, really. I just think if the whole competition committee or the consulting thing's bizarro and just weird that we're actually just picking people out to ask them what they think.
But why would they go to people that have no experience in the game itself? Like what would
I think if they
what would a
selected
fan
him as part of a balanced cross-section of the football viewing public, people would have been more fine with it. Granted, you're still going to get the fair amount of, racist idiots chiming in. But
we got to get the token black person in.
But just the way this came out, it seemed like he was being put on a pedestal because he's Waleed Ali, the all-knowing. That's how it kind of seemed.
But they are asking 50 people, but we just don't know who the other people are because it's not as. He's the most outrageous name on the list, clearly.
Well, if you go to the names of these other people that have absolutely no idea, that have nothing to do with the game, then I would be saying the same thing.
Yeah, you might, but there'd be other people. There'd be other people who wouldn't.
And I guess there's also, the general.
There probably is a demographic of people that hate this idea because he is black, But I think most of the criticism is mainly what I've been saying is that this guy is just a fan, no different to everybody else.
But who are the other 49 people? Are they fans?
No, one of them Malcolm Blight.
And again, the other problem is like a general feeling that pervades, I guess, football fans that fans are not being listened to, and by fans I mean ordinary fans. Now, whether the AFL should go rounding them up and polling them, I don't know, but...
Say what you want about Ali, the reason he's been chosen is because whilst he might be a fan, he's also, by demonstration and the world he lives in, he probably has a better understanding of it than fucking... That guy that was on the Nuffies and AFL pages singing fucking Dire Straits.
Yeah. So,
we're not asking that
guy. but again, that's in the view of these people, that's part of the problem, because you have to consider that the average football fan, there's going to be a degree of anti-intellectualism there.
Yes.
So the sheer fact that you'd ask Waleed Ali and not me is outrage-worthy in and of itself.
Maybe we should ask Milo Yiannopoulos what he thinks of the football and how it could be better. Oh, just quickly, has he become the number one ticket over, who's the pedo priest from Richmond?
One, we don't have a number one ticket holder, and
Yes, you do. It's Waleed Ali. He's taken over from...
we actually don't. Not all clubs have the number one ticket holder. We're the only ones without one. We don't have one.
Yeah, but who's the priest again? I forget his name.
George Pell.
Pell, yeah, Pell. Has he taken over Pell? I think he has.
Real
Pell.
clubs don't have one.
We don't have a number one ticket holder. Pell has some other ridiculous position that we shouldn't even have in the first
Don't
place.
most clubs have a spiritual one?
No,
That one person that's sort of associated with the football club?
apparently only barely half the clubs do, and they're all minnows.
Geelong have 3. How can you have 3 number one ticket holders?
It's Geelong, they can't count.
Rebecca Madden, Robert Doyle, and Keith Fagg.
Keep bag.
What about the guy that was the mayor?
Yeah,
Lions.
Keith Fagg is the mayor, and they made him a number one ticket holder.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yep.
Jeez, Robert Doyle. That's really who you want as your number one ticket holder.
Well, you can have Eric Banner, the guy who hasn't attended a game since you lost the grand final. But he did talk about you in a movie once, so there's that.
Plugger mentions it all the time. Questions. The only question that I can think of is about 2 weeks old, comes from Gornage. He asked, Mrs. Gornage has recently become an avid follower of esports. Is this adequate grounds for divorce? Dan.
Yeah, because she'll probably shoot you if you piss her off. So, just don't be too aggressive when you beat her at Mario Kart or whatever it is that you guys play. Pac-Man.
Pong.
Yeah, this is in the 1960s. Come on.
What, you saying Pong's not good enough for esports? You're an e-snob, Dan.
Melbourne Heart have a number one ticket holder, and it's John Bon Jovi.
Melbourne Heart?
Yeah.
You mean Melbourne City now?
Yeah.
Or is it just Melbourne Heart still?
Bon Jovi even know who Melbourne Heart are?
I don't know. But the only other one in the A-League is the Central Coast Mariners, and it's Julie Goodwin, who won MasterChef.
Announcing certain celebrities to be her cousin, and they don't even know it.
Hang on, I just got to share this because the worst gift I have ever received. Someone once gave me Julie Goodwin made a Christmas album of singing songs, and someone thought that would be a good gift idea.
I'd sooner get a Christmas album with songs sung by paddles. On Central Coast Mariners, do we want to say anything about Usain Bolt?
Way to take the piss out of the league. Really.
Does he have any skills at all?
He's fast like Billy Harton.
No, he does. He's got skills. But...
Well, I'm intrigued. I'll watch their first game if he plays.
No, everyone will watch their first game if he plays.
Why aren't North being linked to him?
Because he'll say no, Penal. That's what people do. So why bother asking?
Sure, you could. Yeah, if Gaff knocks you back, just offer him $1 million a year or something.
Then getting rid of Billy Hartung would make more sense. So Billy, we like you, but we've gotten this other guy who's just a bit faster than you, and he drinks a beer.
And he's more athletic, of course.
He's more athletic, and he's black, and yeah.
What's that got to do with it?
Well, he's more marketable.
If someone tries to deport him, Gillen can always step in.
True.
Do we have? I've got nothing else. Do we have anything on this month on the Bay? Flog of the week, or flog of the month? Thread of the month.
Yeah, Vesty Grug. Fuck off. Leave me alone.
Jeez, he just wants to be friends.
No, he doesn't. He just.
He hopes you find happiness one day.
Maybe he should find a fist in his face.
You don't seem very happy. You're coming across as very.
Because I get people trying to annoy me, and it's annoying. So stop doing it.
No, I don't know about Blood for Flog of the Week. I do want it, or whatever, Thread of the Month, I do want to nominate the thread I saw on the main board. It was called How Did Geelong Miss on James Warple? And I thought...
How did Tom Warple? I rated him.
Yeah, I know, like, he's really come good. Like,
I'm the only one that did.
You should get on that Northwood and say Dan was right.
Well, he's shown more than
UDL.
guy with a fucking unpronounceable surname so far.
Yeah, like, UDL is fucking can't get a game ahead of Billy Hartung, who's apparently not good enough to be AFL standard, and yet Warple is telling Hurley to go and get fucked.
And Duckwood.
And Duckwood too, yeah. Yeah, he made Duckwood squid. Which probably isn't that surprising, but yeah. Fake tough guy.
Speaking of, like, just moments that make you go, poor, O'Meara's fend off on Ronke. Yeah. That was just... Gave me an erection, not gonna lie. Especially after that fuckhead kicked 7 goals on us earlier in the year. And actually that got a Flog of the Week nomination as well, sort of also stemming from a main board thread by none other than yours truly. And that's Danger Sloan. And it's because when there is a thread called "Did getting rid of Ricky Henderson cost the Crows a flag?" and the first line is "Ricky Henderson is a serious contender for All-Australian," it's probably not a serious thread, and this guy still felt the need to post in it 20 plus times. And the most by anyone else was, I think, 3. And so this guy was just typing along, having an internet argument with people in what is clearly a joke thread. And, if I had to pick one poster from the forum who would be likely to shoot someone at an esports event, probably him or Dr. Giroux.
Any other nominations? Morgs?
Not that I can remember.
So I'm guessing Warple Thread and Danger Sloan, it looks like. Unless we want to give it to Grug.
No, I'm happy with the other ones.
Alright. Previews. Do we want to do tips or what do we want to do?
We might as well, because we may not ever be back.
Alright, so Dan, your turn. You go first.
Oh, of course. There's only 4 games. That's nice. Richmond versus Hawthorn on Thursday next week. I don't know.
Flip a coin.
No, I'm not I don't do that shit. You are the retards who do that. I'm going to go with Richmond by 2 points. Next game.
Melbourne Geelong.
Geelong. I'm going for Geelong by 40 points. The Trinity, I think, will pay dividends during the final series. I really do.
You keep believing you're like any other religious devotee.
Yeah.
You're waiting for something that's not coming.
Yeah. It's wishful thinking. I still think they'll win, even if those 3 don't play particularly well. Sydney versus Giants.
Who will? So, young gun Tom Stewart?
Yeah. He will and guide the Geelong Cats to victory over the Demons. What's the next game? Sydney versus Giants. going to go with the Giants to win that one. And the last game, West Coast versus Collingwood. Shit. I'm going to go with Collingwood.
Ooh.
Are you going to that, Morgan, or not?
No.
No.
She accidentally cancelled her own plane.
I can't risk it. I have to work Sunday.
The Geelong-Melbourne game, I think whoever wins, it's like football will be the winner, because I think there's possible for a very lousy outcome either way. Either Chris Scott and the Trinity fail to deliver, or Melbourne just suffer that little more after waiting so long. And I think certainly the most intriguing matchup, I think, from a neutral point of view, and either way it probably will deliver.
I think for Geelong and Chris it'll be mission accomplished, in which case they'll lose. Yeah, I can't wait to see what he says if they lose this one. Anybody else want to disagree with what Dan said with any of them? Penal probably tips Hawthorn.
I got to tip Hawthorn with the heart, of course, and do think West Coast probably just a little too strong at home, but yeah, I think that'll be a good game as well.
I think the boo crowd might get West Coast over the line.
I think there's hopefully some good games. Like, I can't see any of them being a blowout. Like, GWS probably looked the most cooked out of anyone.
Yeah, I was going to say, I reckon Sydney
just can't score, so they won't.
No, it's Buddy or bust. They're riding a Buddy wave at the moment with a few in a row. He's bagged them to finals, but
obviously Richmond Hawthorn could go. Yeah, Richmond no doubt the best side in it, and we haven't played them for since round 3, so be good indication, even if we don't win, of where we're at, whether we're like North 2007 or whether we can actually mix it with the best this year.
And this will be the most interesting test of us, because if anyone's coming up with a game plan that's going to beat us at the game style we play, if we're actually playing well, compete with our best, it's going to be something Clarko devises. Yeah. So we're going to see what it is.
Master coach, can he take down the new upshoot powerhouse Richmond? And I don't read anything into like almost losing to the Dogs, because it's round 23. Players are in self-preservation to try and not get injured. They had literally nothing to play for, so they'll be at near their
best. Did Collingwood the next day, and the same thing happened. Like, they were playing for, they were locked in top 4, weren't you?
No, if we had lost, we would have lost it.
To Melbourne. Yeah, right.
Yeah, we had to win to make top 4, so we really did scrape in.
My team didn't make it to the finals.
We know. Because every time they won, they went backwards.
They did. It was so frustrating.
That's why we've really suffered like the last 2 years with no power rankings to tell us what the true ladder is.
Exactly. Roby, where have you been? Come back.
I know the power rankings. The power rankings are Essendon are the second best team in it. If only they could make it.
I think it was made even better by the fact that they won the last game.
Yeah. Just according to every fucking rank stain. Yeah. Oh, Essendon. Well, you couldn't beat Hawthorn, you couldn't beat Richmond in the last 3 weeks. So, how good are you, really? Just before we move on, one last thing. I've completely forgotten about Fremantle, but can we just actually touch on the fact that where are Fremantle at?
Well, they're at the shit end.
Yeah, well, they're keeping Ross Lyon. They're keeping Hayden Ballantyne.
Who knows why they would keep that loser?
Righto. Yeah.
Yeah, they're keeping Penal, but apparently they're rebuilding.
Committing to youth and going full rebuild mode, but
they have one pick in the top 70 apparently at draft time, or top 50 or whatever it is, because they traded for Brad Hill and no, not Brad Hill. Who did they trade for over the last off season?
Nathan Wilson.
That would be it. Yep. Yeah.
Fremantle's best.
Clive
Fremantle's best is okay, but their worst is deplorable.
Well, you get the feeling that against Geelong they just didn't care.
No, but this week they really cared. And there's been other games where they really cared this year.
But they just never look like Port lost to them, but it turns out Port weren't that good in the end anyway. That was the beginning of the end for them. But they never look like, apart from the Collingwood game, they've never looked like beating anyone serious. Like, if I think of all those teams in the 8, I think Collingwood is the only one they actually got even remotely close to.
And you just don't know where their next flag is going to come from. Like,
What do you mean the next one?
I meant to say the next flag tilt is going to come from. But because when you were looking at Brisbane early in even when they were 0-9 or something, you could look at them and say, "Oh yeah, I can sort of see how these pieces are starting to fit together," and you just don't know with Fremantle.
Like it's gonna happen whilst Fife's still there, and that clock's ticking at the moment.
How old's Fife though? He's still young. He's probably still eligible for the best young player award. There you go. He's only 26. Give it to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got 4 or 5 years of good football, and his body's probably copped some punishment. They need to.
The sooner they change course with the coach, I think the better for.
Especially the off-field staff.
Maybe they need to get an O pair down to Freo.
She can babysit Harley Penal. No, Harley, you can't go out tonight. Anyway, I think that's everything. This was the Flogcast for the qualifying finals. Starburns joined by Dan.
Yeah, we're back. Or maybe we're not. And maybe this is the end. Who knows? But it's been fun. Farewell.
Hello?
Be well. And
Dan won't be back. The rest of us might be.
Yeah, Dan doesn't care.
no, I do care. The rest of you don't care. You guys are just the cold.
Morgs.
Goodbye.
Say your eulogy. We're finished. The podcast is dead.
This podcast was too beautiful for this world.
Yeah, it really was.
And Penal.
Adios.
It was nice knowing you, Penal. You're my favourite podcast partner on the internet.
Oh, best friend,
Dan,
cop that.
Thanks, Dan. That means a lot.
Wow.
The other people just take the piss out of me. And,
Wow. Best friends. Look at this guy just dropping best friends left, right, and centre.
You didn't get me anything from Woolies.
I went to Coles and I told you I got you milk, but you wouldn't provide me your address.
No, you didn't. You offered to get me strawberry milk, which I don't.
Oh, fucking beggars can't be choosers.
No, well, what the fuck am I going to do with strawberry milk?
Drink it.
Fucking drink it.
Just if you get a gift, even if you don't like it, you have to pretend to enjoy it. I listened to that Julie Goodwin Christmas CD, and I said, "Oh, thanks, mate. That was great."
Thanks for listening, and we will see you next month.
No, we won't. We're not coming back. We're finished. That's it.